Welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast, the podcast devoted to the local music scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, here's your host, Matthew Ablin.
Hello, and welcome to episode 87 of the Queen City Music Podcast. This episode of the QCMP is sponsored by Midwood Guitar Studio, Charlotte, North Carolina's own boutique guitar shop located in Plaza Midwood. Midwood Guitar Studio not only has the finest selection of boutique guitars, but familiar names like Fender, Martin, Taylor, Two-Rock, and many others. Whether it's a guitar, bass, amp, effects pedal, or a much-needed accessory, the knowledgeable and friendly staff at Midwood Guitar Studio will help guide you in the right direction for your next purchase. And Midwood Guitar Studio also has a luthier on staff for all your repair needs. Visit their website at midwoodguitarstudio.com or stop in to see their unique shop at 1517 Central Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina. By the way, if you have a business and would like to become a sponsor of the podcast, like our friends at Midwood Guitar Studio, drop me a line at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com and I'll discuss all the information with you. Also, if you enjoy the podcast and want to find out more about me, stop by MatthewAblin.com. That's where you'll find links to my events calendar, performance groups, the latest podcast episodes, and a host of other information. This month on episode 87 of the QCMP, I'm speaking with bassist Desmond McDonald. I recently saw Dez performing in the band of one of my favorite guitarists, Eric Gales, and was knocked out by his playing. When we connected on Facebook and I found out he was from the Charlotte area, I knew I had to have him on the podcast. Desmond McDonald, welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man. Absolute pleasure to have you. So it's kind of funny, before we even just jump in, I got to know you, well, not personally, but I saw you and I was curious to find out. So saw you perform a couple of months ago. I went to see Eric Gales, a great guitar player, up in Greensboro. Mm-hmm. Or was it Winston-Salem? Winston-Salem, I think was that show.
Winston-Salem, yeah.
So up in Winston-Salem, and you were playing, and then it turned out we found each other on Facebook, and it turned out you were in Concord. And I was like, oh, dude, I got to reach out to this guy and see if he'll come on the podcast to talk, because you just played. Dude, you were mind-blowing. You're a fantastic bass player.
Oh, thanks, man.
So, but let's dig in, man. Are you originally from the Charlotte area?
No, I moved to Charlotte about a year and a half ago from, I was living in the mountains at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, but the last year, like the year before I moved, I was coming up to Charlotte to some like the open jam stuff and,
yeah,
you know, kind of like getting into the music scene in Charlotte.
Okay.
Before like I moved here. So I kind of have like a base before, you know, I make that move here. So, yeah.
Cool. Why'd you want to move to Charlotte? Just because it's a bigger scene from where you were at?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a much bigger scene. Even like from like where I'm from in like Pinehurst, like the music scene is super small, but you know, I want to just be like in the city for like all the things that I do music wise and, you know, art wise and all that stuff. So it's a lot more here to do and get into and all that. Cool,
man.
Yeah.
And so what's your music background like, Des?
Probably like I've been playing.
When did you start? When did you get into bass? Were you doing like instruments in elementary or middle school? You know, what got you into playing?
Oh yeah. So like, I mean, I've been playing since I was a kid. It came from my father. You know, he played numerous of things, man, like bass, guitar, drums, and sing, and keys, and
sweet
all that. But you know, from seeing him playing like, you know, guitar and bass and stuff, like it pushed me seeing my dad do that. You know, someone that I'd, you know, look up to, and I got into it myself. And my very first instrument was actually a guitar, but I thought I had a bass. And I used to watch, I had like, my dad had like Billy Sheehan, like instructional videos, and like Larry Graham and Louis Johnson. And I was watching those while I was playing a guitar, and I was breaking the strings and stuff, and trying to figure out why I was breaking the strings, because I was slapping the heck out of it. And, yeah, it wasn't even the bass. So that's how I learned the difference between guitar and the bass.
What was it that attracted you to the bass? Because like a lot of people might latch onto the melody, and I always find it interesting when people, I mean, on drummers, I get, you know, they're kind of getting into the rhythm and the playing, but what is it, the bass and that low end that kind of drew you to it? Like, did you hear it and were like, what's that? Or how did that get attracted to it?
Yeah. So like when I first got attracted to it was like seeing my dad like play like covers of Louis Johnson. My dad was a big fan of Louis Johnson. So like I would, like the whole like slap technique thing. Like I just wanted to get into it. I just really liked that like fat sound it had. And then especially like when I like discovered like Victor Wooten and seeing what he did with it, like just seeing like different players like take that same technique, but like you know, like those players like that, man, like those big guys like that, like they all can play the same technique, but you know it's them because like they just have their own sound.
Yeah,
you know, like there's so many different like guys like that, like just have like a certain like they have their own sound. So I just want to get into it, man. I had a, you know, I just really loved the sound of it. So
okay, and dug in. What kind of players did you like? You mentioned Victor Wooten. Was there certain players or certain styles of music that you were listening to that really got you going?
Pretty much every style. As far as like the players goes, like I mean, the guys that Victor is always with, like at the time, like Sterling Clark and Marcus Miller, Claypool too. I mean, Louis Johnson, Larry Graham, Bootsy. Big fan of Bootsy too. All those guys. Yeah.
So when I saw you, I mentioned when you were playing with Eric Gales. Eric's kind of blues rock. Is that a kind of style that you're attracted to, or is that did you play in bands that were kind of blues rock, or what kind of groups were you playing with when you were younger? That until like
this point? So like I mean, I got into like my first band when I was about like. I was like 13 or 14 or something like that.
Okay.
I got into my first band, in Pinehurst. But yeah, like a lot, like, I mean, I pretty much play like anything, man, like blues, rock, funk, R&B, gospel, born and raised in the church. So, I mean, gospel is a big thing.
Right.
In my style of playing. So, and funk too. So,
that's I have a buddy who, does gospel music. I'm a music educator during the day, and my buddy Keith, who I used to work with, he works at one of the bigger churches in town. Man, and he used to always tell me about the killer musicians playing at some of these churches. It's like you got to know your stuff. Man. Just play.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
When you were playing in church, was there a lot of really high caliber players that you pulled information off of and learned stuff from?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And again, like my dad being one of those people. So
was your dad a semi-pro player? Was he a really talented amateur? What was the level of your dad? Or was he a pro player?
He's a pro player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, singing and this is like another Prince, like, you know, singing, guitar, bass, drums, keys.
Sweet.
Yeah, and he was like pretty like top notch on like all of those things.
So did he teach? Were you learning a lot from him, or did you wind up taking lessons? Did he set you up with somebody else? Because I know, like some parents, when their kids are interested in music, and they play an instrument, they're like, I don't want to teach my own kid. I'm gonna give him to somebody else.
I mean, he kind of like he saw how serious like I was wanting to take it.
Yeah.
Because like I like coming up, like I was like stopping like sports and stuff to take on like music and stuff because I was just like so into it. Like I still love sports, like even like till like this day. But at the time, like when I was in school, like that was what was like. I didn't have a job throughout school. I mean, my job was that, but that was like making me like the most money while I was like still in like school and stuff. Yeah. So that's what pushed me. Even like art and stuff too. Like my dad he's an artist too, and paint and draw and stuff too. And I picked all that up from him.
See, it's kind of funny that you say all that because when I was younger, when I was a kid, I was a massive baseball fan, so that's all I used to do. But as soon as I found guitar, boom, everything else went to the side, and it just became guitar. And I'm not on the caliber of your artwork because I've seen your stuff because you do tattoo work. Yeah. But I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was a kid, so that's all I wanted to do. And it's kind of funny when I meet other musicians.
Yeah.
It's generally they're not artistically inclined in just music. They usually have some other kind of talents, whether it's writing or whether it's artwork or something else going on. which is pretty neat, man.
Yeah.
Were you always artistically inclined like that? Like doing into the music and drawing and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Like it all kind of happened like around like the same time.
What age was it that you really started digging into music?
I got my first like instrument when I was like 4.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No, but I mean seriously, like how serious?
I mean, I got really serious with it when I got into like, cause like I wanted to learn how to read music, but my dad was just like a by ear player. Like he'd just pick up stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when I got into like elementary school, I would say I was probably like 9 or 10. Like once I started like learning how to like read music and stuff, then I just started getting like more like advanced with it, and then playing out with other people, and then other people wanted to like pick me up, and then it just went from there basically. So yeah, I'll say like around like I got like super serious when I was like 9 or 10.
Okay. Did you play in high school band or anything? Were you playing upright bass at all, or were you always just
like,
electric?
Yeah, so like in from like it was like my 4th to 5th grade year. So the orchestra teacher that I had when I was in 4th grade, I was playing upright bass. When I graduated from my elementary school, Miss Lewis, she ended up changing schools to my middle school.
Okay.
So she was my teacher from 4th grade to like my 8th grade year in middle school. So, I played like upright, and then she also, like some songs she would let me play like electric bass too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have you kept up doing any upright playing, or are you primarily just electric?
I mean, I haven't played, like, I played one of my friends, Burns, his, upright bass, like, for fun, like, after his, like, gig, or after the gig, like, we had together a couple of times, but, I don't have one on my own, but I definitely want to get one, because I haven't, like, played, like, spent time with one since then.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you brought a bass with you, so it's fretted. Do you do any fretless stuff besides the upright, or are you primarily like fretted basses?
You know, I've actually never owned a electric like fretless bass. I went to this bass hang here recently. We get into more of that, like we're talking about the bass here, but there's this guy that was like actually like selling one, and he was just like, "Man, check out this fretless bass," and I was just kind of like. Not really, but like after I played it, I like a very low action. Yeah. And this fretless bass was like, this was like a $14,000 like bass. And, man, I didn't like the first like 40 minutes, I didn't put it down. I was just like,
this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, after playing that, like I'm definitely wanting to get in and playing some more like fretless stuff again, because it kind of like brought back memories from when I was in like an orchestra and stuff. Yeah. So yeah.
I love fretless bass, man. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I've been playing, some listeners' podcasts might know, but I've been playing Middle Eastern Oud, which is right there, and that's a fretless instrument, and it's like, it's a little intimidating when you first do it. You're not sure because you really have to rely on your ear when you're playing fretted stuff, and then as soon as you kind of get used to it, you find your own you find the tuning and stuff, and then when you're playing with other people, you can find the notes. But when you first start doing it, you're like, this is really weird, because you're used to those for non-musicians. When you're playing bass or guitar and you have frets on the instrument, you're kind of used to hitting that fret as your little guide spot, of where you are for that sweet spot. So that's pretty cool, man. So, all right, let's say you're playing in middle school and getting into high school. You doing jazz band by the time you get into high school or middle school at all? Or do you just do primarily orchestra stuff?
Yeah. I did some jazz. I did it later on though, like, I think I did like my junior year. Okay. It was my senior year. One of those two. I about forgot. Yeah.
So when you're doing it, and your dad's showing you stuff and you're playing in school, do you take any side bass lessons with anybody, or
it was all just
self-taught?
Yeah, it was just like self-taught stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It was all mostly just like self-taught stuff, man.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you also have that,
I mean, I would like in between. I mean, like, I actually still have those like VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Since like when I was a kid, which is I'll probably never get rid of it because of like the history behind it. But like Louis Johnson, Billy Sheehan, Victor Wooten stuff. Tons of Louis Johnson stuff because he done like a lot of different tapes and stuff.
Yeah.
Just guys like that. I just bought their tapes, and that's kind of like how I picked up off of like other things. And then at the time, like I was just like working on learning like the notes on the instrument, and then learning my numbers too. And then, but like I didn't learn how to read music until like I got into like in school because I didn't know like where to start.
Yeah.
But I already knew the notes, so that's how it all.
Well, if you're doing jazz band, it kind of forces you in a sense to learn all that stuff.
Oh, it does.
You know, learn the chord changes and playing over that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, from like where, like what I was like before I got into like jazz band and stuff, like I was like on like a certain like genre. So like jazz to me was like a lot harder.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then it was way harder than like a one chord funk thing. Yeah. So like jazz is what really like brought me out of the box that I was stuck in over the years.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the fellows on the podcast a while ago, and we talked about jazz, and it's just the thing about that, jazz is just such a different language when you're playing. At least for me. I never understood, and I grew up with like blues and rock. So that is a language and communication with guitar playing that I kind of understood, you know, especially with soloing. I never really got the whole jazz like head for, soloing where that kind of phrasing, as it were, when you play. It's a completely different mindset, and you kind of have to have that when you're going into it.
Yeah.
So you finish high school, what are you doing musically when you're done with that?
When I was done with high school, man, like I just like, I was just subbing in with different bands and stuff, and then I'd join in like a band for like a year or two, and then kind of went back on the same thing, and then I was like, I got into making content and stuff for like social media over the year, like after like high school and stuff, and that just like grew over the years. I think my first viral video I did was like like the first the first like 10 years or so like of my playing since I was a kid. Yeah, like my very first like bass and guitar was an Ibanez, and like you know, 'cause there was so like budget friendly, and they're actually pretty good quality, like for like the price of it. But even like when I was a kid, like I posted a couple of videos. I think it was like MySpace or whatever.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. You're going back now.
Oh yeah, way back. Then like Facebook and stuff. Like my parents, like before I had like a Facebook, my parents would post stuff too of me playing, and they got some pretty good hits and stuff. And then, it just went from like just a bunch of like social media stuff, man. But I had this video, me playing this, like, it was a Ibanez TMB. I think it was like 14 or 15 at the time. And, I posted it on, Facebook, and this, what was the name of that Facebook, page? I think it was like Bass Players United or something.
Okay. Yeah. I think I actually belong to that page.
Yeah. They reshared it, and like, it hit like 1 million views.
Oh, wow.
Like, over a couple months, but like it was like 1 million views. I was just like, this is like a $200 bass that turned into, but I mean, that's when I realized too, like it doesn't even matter how much the instrument costs. It's really on you. Like you can have you can give Eric Gales a
Fender Squire.
Yeah, Fender Squire, or a little like kid, like a little like miniature, like and he can go off on it. But I mean, I was really like ashamed. I mean, even like to now, like I haven't really used it a lot, but like, I still play like Ibanez to this day. That's not like my main instrument now, but it's every
player has to find what they like.
Oh yeah,
and now, I mean, the entry level instruments are so good.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like compared to when I was a kid, man. I mean, you could go buy literally a Squier bass for like $200.
Yeah.
Or a used one for $75, and they're, if you set it up properly, I mean, they're decent instruments.
Oh yeah.
Just to start on.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
Even like those Ibanez stuff that I had, like I didn't even change out like the pickups and stuff. Like I just prefer the low action, and that was like all that I did to the basses that I had. I didn't get into like, even to now, like, I don't think any of my basses that I ever owned, like, I even changed the pickups and stuff out. I just get a good setup and a good gauge strings, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, are you one of those guys who likes to tweak your basses? So it doesn't sound like it. You're like, I just do this.
Oh, yeah. I just, like, I prefer light gauge string and low action, and I'm ready to go.
It's funny. There's players like that, like you and me. I'm not like, oh, I've got to change out this, and I got to change this, and do all the pickups. Like, just comes to mind like Eddie Van Halen, always tinkering with the guitar. Oh, I'm going to change this. I'm just like, man, if the neck is good and it's set up well, I'm fine.
Oh yeah.
I don't need a lot of, certain pickups.
Again, like it don't matter how much the instrument costs, as long as it's set up the way I like it.
Yeah.
I'll play it. Like,
and you're going to sound like you. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. You're still going to sound like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whether it's a $200 instrument or a $2,000 instrument, it's like I pick it up, I'm going to play, I'm going to sound like me.
Right.
Just makes things a little easier, I think, when you have a nicer instrument.
Yeah.
That's all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what, after you're done, we'll jump forward a bit, man. So how long from the time you really start digging into music and trying to make it, do your thing with it, do you move down to the Charlotte area?
So this was like recent, like when I moved to Charlotte. This was like a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you just moved down because of the scene we talked about, right?
Well, not just even the scene too. I mean, just for I'm into like art and stuff too.
Yeah.
So like just being part of like art festivals and stuff, and just being part of like the music scene and stuff. Because like my last year in where I was living at in the mountains. I would still travel to the area and just get myself out there first and like see what was out here and to see how everything was, and I really liked it. So I was like, I'm definitely gonna make that move next year. So I ended up making that move. So
how's it been since you got down here? Have you been working more, playing a lot, or have you been jumping into the music community, meeting a lot of people? What's that been like for you?
I would go to like the open jam stuff. My first one in Charlotte was Smokey Joe's. Yeah. Yeah, I'd go out there. I used to go there like for a while. Like I was going like every Tuesday, and then I kind of like stopped going and just kind of like go like on and off, whatever. But I would go to that and go out to Petra's and stuff. Just any like open mic thing, even if it was at somebody's house in the area. Like I still met some really like dominant people.
So coming down here, did you find it, was it difficult to jump into the music scene, you think? Or I'm curious to see somebody's perspective who just got here. Cause when I got here, I don't know, it's just, I've been here so long that the scene has started to grow more and more. There's more people.
No, like I'll say like it wasn't hard. Like for me, I think like the smartest thing was like me just doing like just that, like just going to somebody's, like open jam stuff and just meeting people and,
right.
Just setting a name for yourself and just meeting new people, man.
Yeah. Have you been, jamming with anybody locally a bit?
Yeah. Mikey, I forgot to pronounce his last name. It's like Mario or something like that. He does like, a real estate and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I know who exactly you're talking about. Now I feel bad. I can't remember Mike's last name. Yeah,
I feel bad too. Like I literally just texted him like 2 hours ago.
Right, I'm going to go. Now that we're awful, because we got to give him a shout out then. Nope, that's the wrong Mike. Oh my gosh. He's not coming up on my Facebook. Sorry, dude. We're all friends, but we don't. He hasn't been on. I know he does some real estate stuff too.
Yeah, so it's spelled Marrero.
Okay. Morani?
One of those.
Sorry, dude. We're
sorry, Mikey.
bashing you. That's okay, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the interesting thing. You know, it's kind of funny. We don't really talk about it much on the podcast, but it's kind of interesting how, just talking to other musicians, we've all got mentioning him and you know, him doing real estate and stuff. And it's like, how we all have come something else to supplement these things, because music is just, it's a tough thing to, it's a tough career. You know, you don't just come into it and start making, you know, $10 million a year and be like, hey, I'm on a world stage. Look at me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to me where people are, you're playing out somewhere and people, I think, and I don't know if it's happened to you, but they get I think they have a certain view of you when you're on stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you may be susceptible. I think Matt Stratford was on one time, and Matt had talked about how somebody had come up to him and asked him where he could find some dope or something. He's like, "Why are you asking me? Because I'm a musician on stage. You know, you think I know where I find all this stuff?"
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me that people have a certain image of musicians. You know, whether it's you're a drinker, you do drugs, you keep late hours, and it's like, you know, when they meet people and they find out you're just kind of normal, or you have a side hustle, or you do other things, you know, this is not the only thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of shocked by it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you had any strange experiences with that, with people, you know, like assuming certain things about you being a player?
Oh yeah, like me, like playing with like Eric Gell's like, oh, you play Eric Gell's like, yeah, and it's like, how's that wild, like, you know, drug your life? I was like, drug your life? Like, what are you talking about? Like, people just think like, cause you're a rock star, like, especially me, cause like, you know, I play live and also a tattoo artist, because people think that about tattoo artists too. And then, so like, I got the best of both worlds. People think I'm like both, you know, so it's kind of like,
no, you know? I'm not into that, man.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And make it even like funnier. I've never even like drank or smoked a day in my life.
Good for you, man.
I'll be 29 tomorrow. So, not yet have not had the spark to even like want to even like give it a shot.
It doesn't even.
You know, my thing is like, you know, I made it this far, almost 30 without it. If I didn't need it within that time, I don't need it now.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against it. Like, I mean, you do what you know is best for you, and but I don't do it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I drink, but I'm a social drinker, and I have friends. It's kind of interesting. I've talked to a lot of people who drink, quote unquote, and they're always amazed. They're like, you could just go out and have like one drink and you're fine. I'm like, I don't keep alcohol at home. You know, it's not like you go in my fridge and there's like beer and liquor. I was like, I'm not that kind of person, you know? And then there are I have friends who are just like, that's why I don't drink anymore, because I can't have one. Mm-hmm. If I have one, I have numerous amounts and I can't stop. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's a good thing if you don't have that, you know, push to do it. And maybe it's also, I saw some stuff online, like the younger generation, coming up. They don't drink like my generation does, like Gen X does.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, man. Keep yourself clean like that.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's hop into it, man. We mentioned at the top of the podcast, you brought it up. How did you wind up like scoring to get playing with Eric Gales? How did that wind up coming about?
Oh man, it's a long story. It all started off with when I first moved to the mountains. The first thing I do, like when I move somewhere, is I go to Google and type in music stores near me.
Yeah,
gotta know that. And the first one that came up was Guitar Wishes in Lincoln, and I went there and like I was like perfect, and I also had like a bass that needed to be like set up and worked on or something. Yeah, and the owner there, Roger, was like, you came at the right time, because this guy comes in like a couple times a week. And at the time, like, he didn't have like a guy to work on like setups and stuff like full time. So Eric had a job of his own, and then he also does that too, like on the side and stuff. And he was like, his name is Eric Gale. And I was like, oh, Eric Gale. I was like, is it the Eric Gales? Like, I was just making a joke. Yeah. And then he was like, no, it's not him. And then when he came out the back, I was like, oh, you're not Eric Gales. And then, he started laughing, and then he was like, I wish I was though. And I was like, yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, so I met him, and so yeah, his name is Eric Gale, but like without the S. I guess you gotta be special to have the S.
That's this S for special, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I met him, and then I follow him like on Facebook and stuff, and then he heard me playing at the store. He's like, man, you sounded really good. And I was like, yeah, so like, do you like just work on guitars, or you play? And he was like, yeah, I do both. And so like he gave me his like info, and we followed each other and followed his his family and stuff on Facebook, and me and him was like talking for like about 2 or 3 months before we actually like made the plans. And he's sent me over his address, and he was like only 7 minutes down the road. I was like, man, that was like, we could have been like, gotten together a lot sooner, but it's never too late.
Right.
So we ended up like hanging out and stuff, and I didn't know he built the guitars. Like, he didn't even tell me that then. And there's this guitar on the wall, and I was like, man, what's that? I was like, I never heard that brand before. He was like, that's me. And I was like, really? Like, you made that? Like, by hand? And he was like, yeah, like the whole thing. And man, I played it, and like, I prefer a low action, and like, man, these strings were so low on the fretboard, like, I just knew it buzzed like hell. It did not at all. I was just like, okay, this guy's the truth. And then like we became friends. I would go see him all the time and stuff. Then he started like making more guitars. Like, I mean, I think like before he like met like Eric Gales, he only had, I can't remember, I think like only like 2 or 3. It was like at the very beginning. And he ended up going to like an Eric Gale show. I think it was like in like Winston-Salem or Greensboro or something. And him and his son went, and another guy. And he bought one of his guitars, and he chatted with like Eric Gales at his merch table, because Eric Gales goes to the merch table every single show. He'll meet like everybody.
Yeah.
And the Eric had, I think he said he had like laid his like ID on the table, and then Eric looked at it and was like, this dude just gave me his ID. And then he looked at it, and he started laughing, and he told his wife, he was like, hey, LaDonna, like, this is the white version of me. And then they just started like chatting back and forth, and then he was like, so you can play guitar? And she's like, yeah. And then he was like, also build them. And then he actually had one in the car, and so like, I think he like went back to the car and picked it up, went and got it, brought it back in. He played it for a little bit, really liked it. He wanted to know more about it. They exchanged numbers and stuff, I believe, and then so that's all that all happened.
Is that the brand Eric Gales plays now? Is Eric Gales guitar?
Well, he plays so he has like his OG like company is Magneto.
Okay.
Yeah, and because he's been with them since like day one, so he'll never like get rid of like stop representing Magneto or whatever. But he also plays like Eric's like guitar. He has like two or 3 now. Yeah. Think of the history that he owns now. I think he wants another one. You can't get wrong with having more of them. But yeah, so that's how that all started. And then, Eric Gale, the guitar builder, he had shared some like my artwork. Like he would always like share like my posts and stuff. And, Eric Gale's wife saw it, and then she was just like, this is Dez that you were telling. He had told them about me like before, but they didn't have at the time, like they didn't have no like idea that I like played bass and stuff too. And then his wife commissioned me to do some like artwork for Eric. It was like right before, I think it was like right after he like dropped his Crown album, and so I got the portrait done about like a month before, got it framed and everything. And I also got like, I got a print made like for myself to keep, because I was going to give him the original. And, the day of the show, it was in Asheville. I forgot the name of that place, but that venue, but it was like an outside show.
Okay.
Very big stage. And, I had texted her like that morning, like an hour before like lunchtime, and I was just like, hey, like me and Eric, the guitar builder, I was like, we're going to be in Asheville, just hanging out like before. We're actually going to like spend the night. So like anytime like before the show, you guys want to meet up, and I can like give Eric the portrait of him, or to you or whatever, where you have planned, just like let me know. I'll be in town. And then she didn't text me back until like an hour before the show started. So it was like, oh yeah, I mean, I want you to be there to give it to him, for sure. But she was like, I was thinking that you should like come up on stage. And I'm just like, come up on like, like, you mean like during sound check or something? Cause, but no, she was like, come like on like during the show. And I was just like, oh snap. So I was like, I mean, this is like my guitar hero. So I'm just like, man, like, I don't even know like what to even like.
Right. I'm not going to play.
Well, yeah. I was just like, I don't even know like what I even like going to say, but once I got up there, everything just came out like, I just, I gave him the portion of stuff, and then let's see, like a couple years after that, Eric Gale again, he like reshared, a video of me playing bass. Okay. And I was friends with LaDon and stuff like on social media, like Facebook, and I followed Eric, but like he didn't, like we weren't like personal like friends like on Facebook. Right. And Eric shared it, and then Eric Gales was like, yo, I didn't know you played bass. And I was just like, yeah, like, I mean, I didn't want to just come up to him and be like, hey, I'll play bass, by the way. Cause he had a bass player, and his bass player that he had, like, at the time, Smoke Face. Like, yeah. Smoke Face is actually he's like in my like top 5. He's a killer bass player, man. But, anyways, yeah, so like after that, it was probably about like 2 or 3 years like after that. This was like a very like last minute thing. I didn't really like expect this to even like happen, and especially like as how fast it happened. But this was like on a Wednesday. Eric was getting back. He had just got back from his flight, and I forgot where they were at like before they had gotten back into town or whatever. He lives in Greensboro, but he was like, man, I need you, like, I need a big favor. And when he reached out to me, like, I was at breakfast, getting some food before my appointment, and I had my phone silent, and I had a couple missed calls from his wife and Eric himself too, and I was just like, it was like a couple missed calls. I was just like, man, what, like, what happened? And so I stepped outside and took the call. I called Eric. He didn't pick up, so I called his wife. I was like, hey, everything is all right? And she was like, yeah, we need you last minute. We have this gig coming up as a tour. It's probably like a 2.5 week like run. Would you be interested in playing bass for Eric? And I was just like, absolutely. I was like, I guess like let me know like what I need to do, like the material and all that stuff. And I heard of his like all of his songs, but I didn't like play them, and have like played to like any of it, like the most like recent stuff. Some of his older stuff I did, but not this stuff here. But he came back like on a Wednesday, and like I'm also a tattoo artist, so like I had appointments booked out for like the next like month or so. So, he was like, could you meet me at the studio, Benji Studio tomorrow at like lunchtime? I was like, well, I have appointments and stuff, but I was like, let me like see what I can like rework around. So I just pushed the time back to those appointments to like later at like, I don't normally work at night at the shop, but like those days I did. And he was like, well, we're actually going out on the road like Saturday. And I was like, Saturday, like next week or something? Like the coming Saturday. So like, and it was like 15 or 17 songs, man. And I was just like, oh boy, this is,
got my work cut out for me.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is happening. And I was like, I'm definitely like, I'm not going to like let it down and say I can't do it. So like I just talked to like my clients for the next like 2.5 weeks that I was going to be out, and they all understood. And I was like, this is like a very big like opportunity for me. This is like a dream of mine. So I gave them all the dates and offered them discounts and stuff for their apartments and stuff, and everything was all good to go. But like till like the day that we actually got on the road, I was still having like, I think the day that that I went through the studio, I had an appointment like at 7 in the afternoon. And it was like a 6-hour session, so I got out super late.
Yeah.
The next day was too, so like I had like very minimum time working on this material, and even like the drive up to like PA. We met up at the studio that Saturday and ran out to PA and stuff. Like even like that drive, like I had like my Spark Mini amp or the Spark 2 amp, and I was on the road, man, like the whole 8-hour, 9-hour drive, wherever it was, to PA. I was working on tunes. Like that Thursday and Friday before like my appointments that I pushed back those days. But I didn't cancel those. Like we went to the studio, like I played with him. It was like a quick like hour and a half, like running through like all the songs and just showing me like how the arrangements went, like a quick run through. Both of those days, and then keep in mind, like that was just with Eric. That wasn't with like the full band. Yeah. So when we worked on the material and stuff, it was just me and him. It was a very quick run through, and so like when I got on stage, that Saturday, was it that Sunday was the first show? Cause once we got, it was that Sunday because we didn't get to PA until like Saturday night. Wow. So Sunday was like the first day of the show. So I had that little bit of time to work on like 17 songs. So
wait, how many, from the time you got the call, well, from the time you started working on the tunes to the first show, how many days is that?
The time the call was on Wednesday. So, and then like before it showed up, so that was like 3 days in between. But it still was like a lot of time because, you know, I had my appointments at my tattoo studio. Yeah. So like, 17 songs within that like short period of time.
So basically almost like 48 hours to learn tunes. Basically. And you didn't even have the whole 48 because you're working and sleeping and dang, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, it was.
I'm curious when you finally got on stage when you started playing with the band. I'd imagine, well, since it's mostly Eric's group is usually a 4-piece, right? Mm-hmm. It's him, guitar and singing, LaDonna doing percussion and backup, Nick Hayes on drums, and bass player. What was it like?
He also has a rhythm guitar player too.
Okay, he had a second. I saw somebody come in and play with him. Yeah. The guy actually reminds me, I've said to him after the show, I said, dude, you look like John 5. I thought you were John 5 up here playing. Because he's very light skinned and he had the same color hair. And I think he was playing I can't remember if he was playing a telly or not that night. But I was like, he's like, I get that a lot. It's either this guy or that guy. I was like, dude, you look a lot like John 5. But I said, I actually Googled it to make sure, you know, you weren't John 5 in disguise, you know? Yeah. But when I looked, John 5 had a lot more tats than this guy did. So I was like, okay, dang. Yeah. But normally, all the times I had seen Eric, that was the first time I'd seen another player on stage. Like I'd never seen him with another guitar player. Live at his shows.
Yeah, even like his trio days. Like I don't think like when it was like his like band I was playing, like I don't think he ever like had like a rhythm guitar player. It was always like keys or like a sax or something like that.
Yeah, I'd never even seen that. It's normally just the three of them and a bass player.
Yeah. So when Smoke Face was part of that, it was Jonathan Lovett. Okay. He's a killer like key player, man. Like that dude is insane.
Interesting. Yeah. What was it like for you plugging into that group? Because I know Nick Hayes has been playing with them forever, and I just love watching Nick play. Like he just looks like he's having so much fun, and he's just one of those guys who pounds the hell out of the drums. Oh yeah. How is that like plugging in with him? Because I know there's a symbiotic relationship between bass players and drummers with that rhythm section. How was that easy? Was that difficult to get a vibe for him, or?
Oh, like we made eye contact. Like he kept me in the loop with like when it's about to change. I mean, you can also hear it, but like he also gave me like a little like
cue.
Yeah, cue. But yeah, man, like locking in with Nick, man, was awesome, man. I always wanted to get even to get to play with him because he's such a killer drummer, man. I really dig him. Man. He's also a good person too, man. He's super down to heart.
Man, I just love watching. He's one of the reasons I go see Eric too play.
Oh, yeah.
Besides Eric, I'm like, I love seeing Nick play drums. It's just so much fun.
Man, he got some nasty chops, man.
Yeah.
Even just like, I mean, hearing it on video and stuff is cool, but just in person and on stage too, and even like sound check stuff, man, just like to see him just like go off and warm up and stuff is pretty gnarly, man.
So it was not too bad plugging in and getting used to it. And over the 2 weeks, you kind of.
Oh yeah,
get a vibe for it. I'd imagine the last couple of shows were probably the best shows because you were used to the material at that point, used to playing with everybody, and you were just plugged in. You're like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. I'm good.
Yeah. After like the first show, like I was like feeling better, and then especially like like before the last song, before Eric like went to like the merch table and stuff, like he told the crowd like, hey, like this guy is not only was his first time like playing with me, but like it was like this is like his first time playing with the band. Like he had less than 48 hours learning material and stuff, and the crowd just went crazy. So like that made me feel even better too, because I was just like, I like to have it down like tight and like within that time and like that amount of songs within like that short amount of time, man. I was just like, man, like I don't know, like I'm just super picky. Like I was like, I don't want people to know like this is like my first time like on stage with Eric, or like I'm like, I mean, people knew I was new because they never seen me before, but at the same time I was just like, I want to make this like I just had to tell myself like don't overthink, don't overthink it, just like stay calm.
Well, anybody's a fan of Eric's knows, like I've been seeing him for years, as we've talked about. He's always had a different bass player with the group. Mm-hmm. So when I saw you that night, I was like, oh, who's this guy? What's he going to do?
Yeah.
But it must, the pressure and I don't even mean external pressure from Eric or the band members. I mean, the pressure you probably put on yourself to learn the tunes, walking into that situation must be tough just in your own head. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're like, wow, man, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Can I do this?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, those were the thoughts that was in my head, and I was just, man, like, can I do this? Because, like, even, like, when I have, like, my own shows, like, I work on the material, like, a couple of months before.
Yeah.
Not in, like, 2 days. Not like 2 days. I was like, man, this is tough. I was like, I definitely didn't want to turn on that opportunity because this is, like, once in a lifetime type of thing. So I was like, yeah, I'm all game. I got it. Let's do it.
What was that first show like when you got on stage with us? Were you a little apprehensive because you had just learned all this stuff?
So for me, like coming up and being on stage stuff in front of like a lot of people with organs and stuff, like I kind of got over the nervous or like shy like part. Yeah. But that brought back memories. Yeah, it did. I was just like, I was kind of like, I kind of got like the sweaty hands, and I had a towel. I was like drying my hands off every like couple like after like every song or whatever. But after like the first song or two, then I was trying to get the hang up, because I was starting to realize it more like when I was on stage. I was like, like this is like my, other than sound check that day, I was like, this is my first time playing with the band too. I was like, oh man. But I knew I wasn't going to like play it terribly, but like once I got over like the first two and then got on stage, seeing all those people out there in the crowd, I was just like, all right, it's game on now.
It's a special kind of nervous. I don't think people understand. Like when you start sweating places like you normally don't sweat.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I remember the first time, it's not even close to what you're doing. But when I was in graduate school, I did my first recital, just solo classical guitar. Mm-hmm. And it was me. I was sweating on my hands. And I was like, I never sweat on my hands ever. And I was so nervous. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's a special kind of nervous.
I mean, everybody's sweats on their forehead, right?
Yeah.
But like my hands was like I just took them out of a pool or something. I was just like, man, oh snap. I was like, this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, this never happens to me,
never
right?
happens. Yeah, it never happens. Like I never play and like have a towel to like just for my hands.
Yeah. I got one for my head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you get out there, after the first few, you're kind of you're good.
Oh yeah.
You feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. You've been playing for a long time, but when you're playing with Eric doing these shows, are those the largest crowds that you've been playing for previously?
Oh yeah.
Or you okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some pretty big shows.
You know,
I don't know the counts of them, but I know it's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah.
Well, I think if you're in the audience, you don't realize it, but there's a difference when you go play for a small bar, and there's only like 30 people there. You start stacking people. It gets strange for the musicians. It becomes a little more intimidating, I think, the more people that you have. I mean, the largest crowd I've played for was probably about 6,000. And man, I was nervous, and they weren't even there for me. Like they were, we had a number of years ago, me and my friend John, we opened for the 4th of July Festival in Kannapolis for the Charlotte Symphony for the 4th of July Festival. For whatever reason, they decided we got gigged, we got booked, and we opened for them. And that was the largest crowd I ever played for. And man, I'd been playing for a number of years before that and never really got that nervous. Played for 6,000 people. I was like, oh crap,
wow.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that probably not anymore because you've done it, but did you feel that intimidation since there were more people, since they were larger crowds you hadn't been playing for?
I mean, I was nervous for like I don't really even say, I can't even say if it was like the people or just playing for Eric.
Yeah.
Playing for Eric. He's kind of like hardening, but he's hardening you like in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, not to get off topic, but like him like pushing me that way, it made me such a better player, man. From like the time like I started, like before I started with him to now, like I feel like it made me even more of a advanced player.
Right.
But as far as like the crowd stuff goes, man, like I mean, like I feel like the more I did it, I felt different each show. I felt like lighter. I felt more free. I felt more like comfortable. Each show.
What kind of stuff was he tough on you about that made you better?
I mean, just getting the parts down. Like when it was like before the sound check, because I was, he knows that I didn't I didn't have much time with those songs, but he was kind of like pushing me, but he was pushing me like again, like in a good way. But he was super helpful, like super very helpful, man. I can't think of enough even for the opportunity, even if that was like the only time, I'm sure I'll probably get to do it again if it needs me again. But I'll definitely take the offer again. Was this your first tour, or had you been on tour before? This was my first tour.
Oh, okay, all right.
First tour.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I can't say it's very tiring. I mean, again, like shout out to Eric. Because, not only he's like the star of the show, like, people didn't come for me. Like, it came for Eric.
Right. Of course.
They came from him. It's the Eric Gales band. I mean, it's everybody, but, he's like he's the head. But, that guy will literally, like, put on a crazy show and pour his heart out. And
if you've never seen seen an Eric Gales show, folks, go see it.
Yeah.
He is an amazing guitar player.
Oh yeah, like he pours his heart out
and he puts on a great show.
Oh, he does. He does. But there's something that you probably didn't know. He will get on. He will drive the bus back to the destination after the show. So like he has another driver for like so two buses. There's like the biggest bus, and then that's one that he drives. And it's just him and Lil Crown, his dog, and LaDonna, and maybe like one other person. And then on the other van is like the rest of the crew, and he has the driver there. But like he will literally drive like from when we met up in Greensboro and drove all the way to PA. Eric did that drive.
Oh wow!
He drove all the way there. He'll drive to the venue. After the venue, like we do the sound check, drive back to the hotel, or drive back. Like he's doing like all the driving on the tour. On top of doing that and putting up with like all the other things in between to get to the venue and the road stuff and all that. Like he's going through all of that, and he still puts on that crazy show like that.
So I'm curious, since you mentioned it, I'm just curious. I had a question about being that you're playing with Eric, and even though Eric is an amazing player and he's got a name for himself, it's not a big tour. Do you guys have like roadies that come with you on the tour to set all the equipment up, or are you guys doing that on that? Sorry, behind the scenes.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, you guys are setting it all up.
Yeah, like his like the whole crew does.
Okay.
Like we put down the stuff, or like if we go to like a venue or something too, like sometimes like they will have people that also too like will like help out, like some of their sound guys and stuff will come and like help out, like we're about the buses up or whatever, and then they would come out and
help out, pull everything
too. Yeah.
So, how much did you learn? This being your first tour, what were some of the takeaways from touring that you learned? Things to do, things not to do. Were there things that really struck you, so that if this happens again and you get called to go do a gig somewhere and go on tour for a few weeks or longer, what are some of the things? Did Eric teach you some stuff? Did you just pick things up, through watching and listening?
Mixture of all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned some things, and I saw some things, and heard some things, what to do, what not to do, and I picked up off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can really say like I didn't do anything like I was like supposed to do, but I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, it's definitely different from just like going to like a local show and stuff. Like, is the way you move is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. But I can't say be on the road like that is tiring. It's all like the traveling and stuff and having the shows, and especially too, like, I mean, I get up for like, for the whole band itself too, because like we're putting up the stage and taking down like everything, well, all the equipment and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
What's it? I know just playing locally, let's say I do a show and I get home at 11. And I'm still wired from playing, because people might not understand when you're playing, you're kind of, even if you're just doing a local show at a bar or something, man, you got some energy, you're kind of jazzed from the show. Absolutely. What's your downtime after a bigger show like that when you're playing with Eric? You're like, okay, man, I'm not going to be able to, I'm still wired. I can't fall asleep for another 2 hours. I got to sit here and watch TV for the next 3 hours.
Or? Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll see if anyone like posted like videos of the show and stuff. I'll stay up and like watch that stuff. But being out of town and stuff too, especially if you're not like used to being on the road all the time, like me, sometimes I have a hard time like going to sleep. So that's one thing I struggle with. So especially being on the road and stuff, and ears is, I had in like ear monitors, my ears are still ringing and stuff. So it was like, it gets pretty loud. Yeah.
He does a loud show, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I like it. I mean, I may be deaf for 3 years from now, but I like it.
But don't the in-ears that you use, are those help with sound reduction per se?
So I said like the in-ear thing, like I gotten some in-ears, but like, even like ear, like it's still a difference from like having the monitors in front of you. I like to also like feel it and everything too.
Yeah, pushing air,
So I had the in-ears, but like I really like use them. Like I did for like the first like show or two, but like I have no idea like where they're at right now. So RIP to those, but I've
heard they take a while to get used to, man. I mean, it's and when I say a while, it's some folks I've heard who use them. I've never used in-ears, but they've told me, you know, it takes a couple of years just to really kind of get used to that sound and performing like that.
Yeah. That part, like, I guess it's just because I wasn't used to it, but like, I didn't really like having it in ear. Like, I'm used to, like, you know, the amp behind me or whatever, but like having the monitors like right in front of me, like I have like 1 or 2. Eric, you have like 6. Oh yeah. But yeah, me and the rhythm guitar player and Eric, like we always had our like monitors like right in front of us.
Gosh.
Yeah.
You better watch your hearing, man. You're still young. You got a whole career ahead of you. You know, don't be starting to lose it.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like, you know, once you get used, like, repetition is key. So, like, once you get used to something, I mean, it'll be like, it'll be nothing. But I do need to start using ear monitors probably. So,
did you get do you have anybody influential kind of like watching you while you're playing, talk to you after shows, or help, you know, start maybe lining some stuff up after this mini tour with Eric?
Say it again? Sorry.
Do you have anybody who's interested in hiring you to go out on a tour again after this shows with Eric?
I mean, people like saw that, you know, I played with Eric, and like I've gotten like more like opportunity stuff because, you know, I got to like showcase myself, you know, a couple of times, but taking a couple of solos and stuff and getting free, and it got pretty funky up there. So I mean, I still get people that was like, "Yo, like you played with Eric and this and that," and I was like, "Yeah, man, it was a tour that I went on." So
well, that's a hell of a first tour, dude.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Did not see that one coming. Did not expect that, but you know.
I mean, you could have been, I mean, being with Eric Gales on your first set of shows like that and playing for a larger crowd, it could have been like you're playing with a local band, touring around and playing for 5 people on a Friday night or a Tuesday night somewhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, at least you're playing with Eric and you know there's going to be somebody there. Yeah. They're going to show up. Yeah. So that's fantastic, man. I think that's just a great experience, especially the first one.
So like right now, I mean, I'm basically a free agent right now, like even if it's a local gig or whatever, but like, I mean, if someone bigger picks me up, then, you know, of course, you know, I'm going to go with the bigger thing, I guess. But, I mean, long as I can still do like, even if it's just studio work or like whatever, like right now, I'm pretty open to like whatever right now. Mm-hmm. I'm doing like my own, I'm putting together like my own thing. I did it a few times, like, throughout spring and fall and the summer and stuff, like this past year, like before like the Eric thing happened. Yeah. You know, I was getting the feel of everything and trying to decide like what I'm going to do. I did some like trio stuff and me and a drummer, one of my buddies, Sam from Charlotte, and like maybe like a saxophone player or another like guitar player or something, but I'll be like the composer on bass. So, I'm pretty much down for like whatever now.
Are you looking to plug into something, or are you kind of more looking to do your own thing?
I'll say a mixture of both. Like, I still want to do like my own thing. Like, I'll say for now, I guess it'll be like more full time until I get an opportunity for something else again. If it's local, if it's like tour wise or like whatever, I definitely would love to go back on tour again. It was fun. I mean, I liked it, even though it was like tiring, but you get to see new places that you've never been to before, and I kind of like that. I like to travel. Yeah. So, but I don't want to be on the road for like months and months, but like that for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice experience to have. I mean, we talked before we started recording, and I had never toured, but I did go cross country years ago for 2 weeks, and that 2 weeks on the road really solidified it for me that I didn't really want to be a touring musician. Yeah. Like, I did not like sleeping in beds, strange beds, eating food on the road all the time. Yeah. Seeing great places, new places, that's beautiful. Yeah. But all the other stuff. Meal. Yeah. I'm that guy who likes sleeping in my own bed. I like cooking my own food.
Oh yeah, literally every day you're in a different bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, And at least when I did it, we were slumming it. So like I was staying in like $75, a night hotels and the cheapest I possibly could because I didn't want to get back home with a $3,000 bill for being in hotels.
I can't say, they definitely looked out because we stayed at some pretty like high end hotels, but it was still a different bed. Like, even though like the beds felt good, it was still a different bed every night.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a lot when you're on tour, man. I mean.
Oh, it is.
And there's a lot of, I guess, from what I understand, there's a lot of downtime, right? I mean, you're waiting for that show that night, but I mean, I guess you were sitting with the tunes every free moment you got, right?
Oh yeah. I didn't really have time to even like kind of like hang out and chill type of thing. I mean, like towards the end, I was just like. Of course, like, again, like repetition is key, man.
Sure.
So like I was wanting to like get these songs in like as much as possible, and focus on that.
Yeah.
And getting it as tight as I possibly could.
Sweet. So. What's the, so you talking about doing just kind of your own thing and stuff. Do you have a little recording studio at home to do stuff that you're recording demos with, or how is that working for you?
It's working good. Like I've been posting like, content and stuff on social media and stuff, and try to do the whole social media thing, man, and try to stay on a consistent schedule now. Sometimes like I'll get consistent and I'll stop, and consistent and stop, but now I'm trying to like just like stick to it. Every Friday I'll try to like post a new like video or something, or if not every other week or something like that. But for now it's been like every other Friday or so, like I'll post like a new video of just me playing. There's lots of that, like I've recorded like over the years since I first started like recording and learning how to do it. I haven't made like any like anything else as far as like drum beats and stuff like that. Like I still haven't taken the time to like get into that. Right. 'Cause I'm like so busy all the time. So with music and art and drawing and tattooing, there's like, it is a lot.
It's a new rabbit hole to go down once you start getting into recording, man. I went down that rabbit hole and I started mixing music. I'm actually mixing a couple of EPs for my friends, shameless plug, The Sense in New York City. They have a couple of EPs I'm mixing for them now. But man, I went down that rabbit hole. It's a lot, you know, just to learn how to record and work with the DAW and all that kind of stuff, man. But that, you know what, that's the crazy thing. You talk about social media. Just being a musician today, you're not just a musician, you're a content creator. You know, you there's a lot of hats you have to wear. You not only have to play well, you have to learn how to record, you know, you have to learn how to do sound. You have to be able to do your own social media kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like, I get practice my instrument. Yeah. You know? So.
Yeah. Get back to people.
That's it. But I mean, you've already got that. It sounds like you've already got those skills because you've got at least the interpersonal skills because you run a business doing tattooing and haven't been out on the road with Eric. So you at least have those skills that like, I know how to work with people and I've been in close quarters with people on the road and I know how to manage that. A lot of people don't. Yeah. You know, it's not just playing anymore, right? It's now it's I've got to have these other things that make it profitable for me. Yeah. So man, what's you brought in? I'm just curious. I'm looking over here at this gorgeous bass. What is this bass you brought?
Tell me man. So this is my aluminum bass. My first aluminum bass. I played a couple of like aluminum basses before, but man, like it felt like with putting a strap on, it felt like putting a strap on a piano and putting it around your neck. This one is not the case, man. It's just as light as my, like, you know, other, like, wooded instruments. So the neck is made out of aluminum, and you can see, like, in the fretboard, it looks like almost snakeskin, but it's actually, carbon fiber fretboard. Nice. Yeah, and, you know, harmonics is a big part of my playing, and, just, like, the sound from that bass of, like, my tone, like, just the whole like harmonic content on that thing, man, it's pretty like it really helps me like express myself. But yeah, man, that bass is definitely eye candy. Every time I go somewhere, like, people are just like, what is that?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, man, she's a beauty. So this is like their model. I think it's like the Helix or something like that, but this is their model of, this bass here. But like, I'm actually working on, they're actually working on like my own like custom like signature bass, which is cool. So like the story, like how I met them is, I went to this, bass thing. I seen it like advertised like a month like before. This was in, what was that? I want to say it was like March.
Okay.
It was when I first seen someone like share it. It was either like Facebook or Instagram. And then, it was like the month after that they actually had it. And, I went to it. It was in Asheville. I forgot the name of that place where it was held at, but I think they have it like twice a year. But that was my first time ever being to something like that. Like I never been to like a NAMM show. I've always wanted to go, but I never been to anything like a NAMM show or like.
That's one of my goals. I'd love to go.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go actually with them this coming January. So I'll let you know all about that.
Oh, in California?
Yeah.
How about the summer one? There's the one in Tennessee, in Nashville. There's a summer NAMM.
I don't think they still have that anymore.
No, I'm pretty sure they do.
They do?
I could be wrong, but I know they did it every year.
Oh,
I'll have to check.
Yeah, yeah.
Did they cancel it?
I thought when I went to Nashville like a few weeks ago, like some of the guys were saying that they used to have it there.
Oh, maybe that. I looked at their website and I didn't see it, so maybe they aren't having it anymore.
Yeah.
That would be news to me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Dang.
You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to shell out thousands to go to California.
Yeah.
To go to one. I really want to go. Just 1 year.
Yeah.
And as an educator, I can get tickets.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, so I went to this bass hang, and as soon as I walked in, they were like the first booth on the left. I was like, "Does that say aluminum instruments?" I was just like, "Oh, I mean, I was down to try it out.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, they looked, like, super cool. I was like, those look different, though. I was like, I'm going to have to check them out. And then I went to, like, another, like, booth and whatever, and checked out their instruments, and I still did not make my way over to, like, Illuminati basses until, like, towards, like, the last, like, hour or so. Mm-hmm. And I went over there. I didn't go back. Like, I mean, I didn't go back to anything else, basically. I was like so hooked because of like how amazing the bass is like played, and I was also like in shock because I love black, and this bass is like completely like all black, mm-hmm. And when I started playing it, man, and he was just like showing me like the setup and stuff. So like, this bass doesn't have the preamp like the preamp, but I forget how it goes. It's like in the pickups,
okay,
or something. So like it's not separate from it. It's like in the pickups.
Okay.
I even forgot the name of
these active pickups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man. It's actually both. It's both.
Oh, okay.
It's active because the middle knob, if you pull that up, it'll go into passive.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like the weight is like great. Like I played it standing up, sitting down is very comfortable.
Is that a shorter scale? Is that traditional like bass neck?
Yeah.
Why does it look smaller?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a short scale. I think on my signature one, I'm definitely gonna probably go for like a 24 maybe.
Okay.
24 fret. I like to get up high and play like love chordal, melodic stuff. Mm-hmm. But you should do that on this bass too. Like, I'm still going to be like, this is going to still be like my, in my top two basses. I got some ideas for my signature one already. Yeah, man, this thing plays like butter, man.
You want to play some stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, man. Hold on.
Yeah.
We'll get all set up. We'll come right back. All right, hold on. Dez, what did you want to play for us?
Oh, I like to do an arrangement of mine I've been working on for a little bit of Jocko's Portrait of Tracy.
All right, sounds good, man. Let's hit it. Des, that was awesome, man. That sounded fantastic.
Thank you.
I heard a little sting in there too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How long you been working on that arrangement?
Man, I've came up with probably like 10 different arrangements of that, and just trying to pick out the best one, really. But like when I do it like by myself, it's a lot different. If I have like a drummer with me, it's a little more like groovy and funky. But that was just a solo version of that.
You were talking about earlier recording, doing your own recording and doing some cover stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we talked about it before we started doing the actual podcast recording. Is that something that you want to put out?
Oh yeah, definitely is. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one I would love to put out for sure. That actually may be like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious. Just as we're talking, I'm staring at this gorgeous bass. How do you like the metal, the aluminum neck?
Yeah.
And compared to a wooden neck, how does that compare for you?
I like it a lot, man. I mean, the feel of it is nice. It's kind of like it's like just perfect for like. I mean, by it being a aluminum neck, like you think it'd be like super slick and like weird to play, but it's really not. It's not. I've played it in. I've already tried out in the cold and the by being aluminum, it will get a little colder than wooded, But I mean, I'll play it outside and in different temperatures and stuff, and it's
not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
Interesting.
Well, thinking about this, like some people, in their room where they have their instruments and stuff, and they may have like a humidifier to kind of keep the the moisture or whatever, or but this, man, like once you set it up, it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about changing up the action due to the different temperatures and and all that stuff. So
I know I play Ovation guitars, and I did try an Ovation carbon fiber top at some point.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. Like on that particular guitar, maybe I go back to it and try it again these days and see how they sound. But on that particular guitar, it was not my thing. Yeah. Is the body wood on this too, or is it just the neck? Is
Yeah, it's just the neck.
Okay.
Like you would think like when you put the strap on, like the weight maybe is like super balanced, man.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's great, man. And you said they're building you another one.
Yeah, so this one was one that they already like had. This is like to get one like in my hands already.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be working on it soon, like my own custom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, dude.
My own model. So excited about that.
Wow. So I'm just curious. We talked a little bit earlier about you were telling me about posting on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's your game, or how do you approach social media? Because I mean, everybody tries to do something a little bit different with it. How are you approaching social media? Are you posting just those regular videos? Are of you playing? Are you doing an all-encompassing thing with your other artwork, your tattooing and music?
Yeah,
are you doing
I do
everything?
mixture of both. So like on Fridays or like the weekend, I'll try to save that for like my music playing and stuff.
Yeah.
And like throughout the week, I mean, I may do like one or two posts for like art stuff or whatever. Right. I'll post more like on my story and stuff, but mostly, recently it's been just like kind of like taking turns. Like I may do like on a Friday, like or weekend, like a bass video or something. And then the beginning of the week and mid of the week, I'll post some like artwork stuff too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a dedicated website for you as a musician, or for everything?
Right now it's mainly just like Instagram for now. I don't have a website yet.
Okay.
That's in the works of stuff. So like I'll have like trying to get like the blueprint down a bit first.
Right.
Like how I want to have it, because I want to have like everything on one website instead of having like everything separate. You know, before I would have like Instagram and Facebook, I would have like separate accounts for like everything. And that was like so much to keep up with. Like it was, man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I had a decent amount of following on both.
Right.
On each account. So it was just like more to try to like keep up with. So now I just have like Dez the artist on Instagram.
Yeah.
And, I have everything, artwork, tattooing,
bass playing,
food, all that.
That's great, man.
All that.
So I'm curious. Doing all that, have you met other musicians coming in for tattooing?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hooked up? And you've done any playing with them because of artwork?
Yeah, and I have some too that like they send me posts. Because I don't really post like tattoo stuff like every day or like every week.
Yeah,
I'll kind of like I try to balance it out, but but like whenever I do, like some people still say like, I didn't know you were even a tattoo artist. I was like, oh, now you know. Yeah. So yeah, I've tattooed a couple people so far and got more that's wanted to get more. That's wanting to get some done, and even some like guitar players and stuff. And that I've met too, like don't have any, and like for me to do their first one. So
I'm curious as we start wrapping things up a little bit, Des, if you had to go back, this is a new question I started asking everybody. If you have to go back to young Dez when he just started playing bass, and I know you're still a younger guy and you still got a whole career ahead of you, but did you think you'd be as far along as you are now with playing and things like that and doing some of the things that you've gotten involved with?
Yeah, I knew like something was going to happen, but I didn't know when.
Right.
So I just kept my head up and just kept going at it until it did. And then I'm still keep going, but you know,
of course.
But I mean, I didn't think I was going to have this big of a following on social media for one. But yeah, I mean, I'm blessed to be here, like where I'm at so far. It's only the beginning. So
that's awesome, man.
Keep on going, man.
Well, much success to you, man, because you're a talented and a great guy. So,
thank you.
How do we get in touch with Dez if we want to find out more about you and if we want to book you or get you playing with us?
Yeah, you go to Instagram and type in Dez.the.artist, or you can get me on Facebook at Dez the Artist Studios, or you can shoot me an email at deztheartiststudios@yahoo.com.
All right, fantastic.
Shoot me an email from there, and I'll get back with you.
Awesome. Dez, thanks for coming in and talking, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a pleasure meeting you for the first time, finally. And,
It's always a pleasure to meet Facebook friends in person, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, man.
All right, dude, take care. Have a great weekend.
All right, see you.
Bye. Thanks for listening to episode 87 of the Queen City Music Podcast, and I hope you'll go back and check out past episodes. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends. As always, if you have an idea for an episode or would like to be a guest on the QCMP, reach out to me at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out our local partners, Records on the Wall at rexonthewall.com, Queen City Live at Instagram.com/Queen City Live Music, and Charlotte New Music at charlottenewmusic.org. And our latest and newest partner, Blacker the Berry Lemonade at btblemonade.com. Until next month, get out there and support the local Charlotte music scene by hearing some of the talented artists who call our city home.